Welcome to your deep dive.
Yes, welcome.
Today, we're diving headfirst into a Formula One story that's, well, it's gotten everyone a-buzzing.
It has, hasn't it?
Yuki Tsunoda moving to Red Bull Racing, replacing Liam Lawson.
Big shoes to fill, starting at the Japanese Grand Prix, no less.
Talk about pressure.
Hey!
To break it all down, we're going deep on an analysis from F1 blogs. Their video, ¿Por qué Tsunoda será otra víctima de Red Bull? Catchy title.
It grabs your attention, doesn't it?
It does. And the analysis itself offers a really interesting perspective on the challenges ahead for Tsunoda in this pretty big role.
Absolutely. Not just what they think, but the why, their reasoning.
Exactly. And by doing that, we can all kind of get a better grasp on what this move could mean for Tsunoda, for the whole F1 scene even.
For sure. Lots of potential ripple effects.
So let's jump right in. The main argument from F1 blogs, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, straight to the point. They're not exactly optimistic about Tsunoda's chances. At Red Bull.
Not pulling any punches.
As of March 28th, 2025, they explicitly say so. The analyst does, I mean. Yuki Tsunoda, unlikely to succeed as Max Verstappen's teammate. At Red Bull Racing. Strong words.
They are. They do admit, though, that predictions can be wrong, which I think adds a nice layer of, well, realism.
A bit of humility, which is always good. Makes you pay attention more, maybe.
It does. And they jump right in, drawing a comparison right off the bat with Sergio Perez's experience at Red Bull.
Almost like they're using Perez's struggles to set the stage for what Tsunoda might be walking into.
Yeah, I got that sense too.
It's interesting how they interpret Perez's time there.
Tell me about it.
Basically, they argue that Perez was right in his assessment, that the car is just tough to handle for anyone, really, unless you drive like Verstappen.
If you don't have that Verstappen touch, you're in trouble.
That's the idea they're putting forward. And they back it up, too, pointing to things Christian Horner has said about difficulties Perez was having.
Oh, going way back, right, to Barcelona 2023.
That's right, suggesting maybe those issues weren't taken as seriously as they should have been at the time.
But Verstappen was still winning.
Exactly. Classic case of if the star's doing well.
The rest doesn't matter as much. Yeah, I've heard that tune before.
But F1 blogs goes a step further, right? They say even Verstappen now is having more trouble.
Yeah, they bring up Liam Lawson, moved out after just 2 races, consistently qualifying last. They specifically mention China, both sprint and main race.
Yeah. So their point is the car itself, it's becoming a bigger problem for everyone.
Setting the stage for Tsunoda's arrival.
Leading to their first big reason why they're, skeptical.
The undrivable car argument. Lay it on me. What makes this Red Bull so special, so uniquely difficult that other top drivers can't just, adapt?
So F1 Blog says it comes down to design and development, geared specifically towards Verstappen's driving style.
Like a custom-tailored suit, but for driving?
Exactly. Apparently, he prefers a really strong front end, super responsive, and he's okay with the rear being a bit loose, prone to sliding.
Not the easiest to control.
Most drivers, it wouldn't work. But for him, it unlocks this incredible performance, but, like they say, adapting to that, not easy. And the pressure cooker at Red Bull, forget about it.
No time to learn on the job.
Right. They compare it to, like, a chef's knife. Perfectly balanced for one chef's grip. Another chef picks it up. Might feel totally off, even if it's a top-notch knife.
So the Red Bull car is Verstappen's perfectly balanced knife.
That's the analogy, yeah. Fine-tuned to his specific way of driving.
Love that. Makes it so clear. And F1 Blogs doesn't think this is by accident, right?
Not at all. They say it's intentional. Red Bull's priority. Making the car perfect for Verstappen.
At all costs.
The second driver, whoever it is, has to figure it out. Adapt. Not a new strategy, they say. Look at Albon, Gasly, Perez, all struggled, complained about handling.
So a pattern of sacrificing the second driver for the star.
That's their argument. And when you add to that, Tsunoda coming in with basically zero preparation.
Yeah, that was a big point they made. Lack of prep time.
A major disadvantage. He didn't do any preseason testing with Red Bull. None.
Seriously?
None at all. As far as they know, he hasn't even driven the RB21, the current car.
Wow. That's a big deal.
Huge. His only experience in a Red Bull F1 car was the postseason test last year in Abu Dhabi.
So joining midseason is tough enough.
Yeah.
But a car you've never driven, and your teammate has thousands of kilometers under his belt.
Like running a marathon halfway through with no training.
Brutal.
They see it as a major hurdle, this unfamiliarity. And it ties into their next point. Tsunoda's his standing within the Red Bull program before this move.
Right. That was telling. They basically say he was never really a top choice
Yeah.
for that Red Bull seat.
They compare him to Lawson. Red Bull chose to promote Lawson first.
Lawson, who, remind me, had only been in, 11 Grand Prix?
When he got his first shot, last year. And Tsunoda already had 4 full seasons.
And Tsunoda finished ahead of Lawson in the standings last year, too.
That's the point F1 Blogs is making. It makes Red Bull's choice even more significant. They must have seen something in their data. Internal evaluations, something about Tsunoda's potential, maybe.
Or a lack thereof, perhaps.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, what did their data show?
Definitely raises questions.
And then they go even deeper, right? Comparing Tsunoda and Lawson's junior careers.
Yeah, looking beyond just F1, they say in those feeder series, Euro Formula Open, F3, Toyota Racing Series, they were pretty close. Performance-wise, Lawson got 2 championships, Tsunoda 1.
Tight margins.
But they describe Lawson as this explosive driver, adapts quickly to different cars.
And crucially, they highlight his pace when he first entered F1. Last year, scored points in 5 races, while Tsunoda got none in that same span. Makes a difference, especially when you have limited chances to prove yourself.
They think Lawson's got that ability to get up to speed fast, which at Red Bull is, well, crucial.
With all that pressure, no time to waste.
And that brings us to their point about the intense time pressure. At Red Bull,
Which they really emphasize.
yeah, it's central to their argument. Red Bull's all about immediate results, top-level performance, right away, no excuses.
No patience for a learning curve.
Exactly. They're looking for drivers who can jump in and deliver from day one. And for Tsunoda, with no prior experience in that specific car.
It makes it even harder.
Definitely.
And then there's the whole pressure factor, which they think has been an issue for Tsunoda before.
They bring up examples where he struggled under pressure, especially when he had a fast teammate, like Lawson.
Internal competition even.
Yeah, and then they say, imagine that pressure. But now it's Verstappen, the most dominant driver in F1.
The scrutiny would be insane.
Yeah.
From the team, the media, fans.
It's a whole other level to perform under those conditions.
And to back up their argument even more, they go back in time. Look at Verstappen's previous teammates.
Makes sense, right? See how they fared. Historical precedent, they go through all of them. Gasly, Albon, Perez, Lawson, none of them could consistently match Verstappen.
All talented drivers, too.
Yeah, and they ended up replaced or demoted. So their question is, if those guys couldn't do it, why would Tsunoda be any different?
Especially when they think some of those drivers were even better than Tsunoda.
Tough track record to follow.
And they even zero in on Tsunoda's performance against Gasly when they were teammates at AlphaTauri.
Big performance gap there. First season together, Gasly scored 110 points, Tsunoda 32.
Ouch.
And even in their second year, Gasly outscored him 23-12.
Not great.
And they link it back to Gasly's struggles when he was Verstappen's teammate back in 2019.
So it's almost like Tsunoda wasn't as good as Gasly and Gasly couldn't handle Verstappen?
It's a concerning pattern, they suggest.
And last but not least, they talk about Tsunoda's temperament.
Yeah, that's their final point. He's known for being a bit hot-headed, gets frustrated easily.
A bit of a firecracker.
And they say, that kind of personality could be really bad at Red Bull, especially next to Verstappen, who's so competitive.
With the added pressure, no real preparation time.
Yeah, it could really mess with his focus, his performance, even his relationship with the team.
Staying cool under pressure, that's Formula One 101, especially when you're already facing an uphill battle.
Absolutely.
They also point out something interesting about Red Bull's announcement.
Oh, yeah, the wording.
It said Tsunoda would drive from the Japanese Grand Prix onwards, but no confirmation about the whole season.
They found that interesting.
Makes you wonder, are they unsure about him long term?
Maybe it's a trial period?
See how he does.
That makes sense.
But here's the thing. Despite all this criticism, the analysts, they actually like Tsunoda.
Yeah, they make sure to say that. They like the guy. But the data, the circumstances, it's not looking good.
So I like him, but
reality bites. That's the vibe. They acknowledge how tough it'll be, but still hope he proves them wrong.
that's fair. So that's F1 Blog's take. Not exactly a rosy picture for Tsunoda.
Lots of challenges. Car design, team focus, Tsunoda's past performances, his personality.
A lot to unpack.
What stands out to you most? Is it the comparisons to past teammates? Or do you see Tsunoda's speed, his potential as a counter-argument?
For me, it's the lack of preparation. in that specific car. And the struggles of all those other second drivers. Next to Verstappen, that's a red flag.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Feels like he's got a mountain to climb.
The F1 blog's analysis ends on a note of, well, uncertainty about Tsunoda's future, and a hope that he'll defy the odds.
It really highlights the pressures of driving for a top team like Red Bull, especially with Verstappen as your teammate.
It's a unique challenge.
This deep dive has given us a lot to think about. One expert's view, but a well-argued one. What will happen in the coming races? We'll have to see.
It's a story worth following, that's for sure.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
And if you enjoyed this analysis, make sure to check out F1 Blogs for more Formula One content.
And subscribe to their channel for all their latest updates and opinions.
They do some great work.
Until next time.